Are you considering going to grad school? Well, here are a few things that I wish I would have known during my master's degree, and if you're wondering, what are your credentials? Can you even see that? Yeah, that should do it. I'm gonna be spilling all the dirt, all the secrets, and all the things I regret because I'm a hypocrite in this entire video. Grad school isn't about grades in that if you're not looking to go to law school, medical school, PA school, what other schools are there? Your PhD maybe? The grades you get are not end all be all, kind of like it was in undergrad. Undergrad, your grades do matter. I mean, obviously, please don't go failing your classes. But in grad school, you can be a little bit more relaxed because grad school is more about skill sets that you're gaining. People are looking at your CV and your resume and your skill set, not so much your grades, but grades are an asset, especially if you're going for grants, scholarships while you're a current student. But don't suffocate yourself with one single course. Now, did I get a 4.0? By the skin of my teeth. Treat every assignment like it's gonna get published. That sounds crazy, right? But the thing is, something I realized after an internship in the middle of grad school was you are gonna be doing a lot of final projects. And a lot of my grad school classes, I would get one assignment for the whole duration of the semester. So every single week, every month, we were only working on one big task. And I realized that you can use those assignments as portfolio pieces and work experience. So let me give you a picture. Following one of my internships, I got an interview from a company that I met at a networking event. They also asked me for a writing sample. Now, I did not have a writing sample and I didn't really have professional work experience. But something that I did was I took one of my final assignments in one of my classes. When I was initially doing that assignment, I took it pretty seriously. So then I was able to just zhuzh it up a little bit and submit that as a working sample. And I didn't have any work experience when I did that. I just had done a single internship that was 3 months. But then I did that for a few other interviews and it just kept snowballing and I realized that I had an entire portfolio that I never realized. So something you can do is when you initially do those projects, obviously if you need to just submit it, that's fine. But afterwards, go get extra feedback from your professors. Go ask more professors for feedback. Even ask your peers if they have a little bit more work experience than you. And in some ways, they can kind of benefit from that too because you can publish something. I took a systematic review that I did in undergraduate for a class and I ended up submitting that for a conference and then I went overseas because I got accepted. Sometimes it's that simple, but I just took one class assignment a little more seriously, got feedback from as many professors as I could, right? You have access to such brilliant people. Take advantage of it. Either you're gonna have a new piece for a portfolio or you just got a lot of work experience through that. So think long term when you do your final projects next time. You already did the work. You might as well benefit from it. Your mentor will make or break you. And that is literally the biggest point I can make in this entire video. I really don't recommend people going to a graduate program just because the name of the institution is impressive or world-renowned. The thing that is going to give you infinite opportunities or hold you back and set you back like 20 years within your career is your advisor slash mentor. Pick them carefully. Go to an institution for the mentors and people that align with your goals, that have a similar work structure as you. I can't really emphasize how important that's going to be. And it was one of the biggest things I learned, especially when facing adversity. And the other reason is because your mentors will serve as your advocates even when you're not in the room. So a lot of times in board meetings, when there's grant opportunities and there's projects being brought up within the department, a lot of times your mentor is the person advocating for you to get on those projects or to get certain opportunities. So you want to make sure it's someone that has your best interest at heart. And they're also going to be the people that shape you and instill a lot of habits that you're going to have within your career, whatever that looks like. Make sure it's a mentor that you would yourself like to be a reflection of. You know that saying where it says, your 5 closest friends are a reflection of who you will become in the future? I always say look at your mentors and look at your peers within grad school the exact same way because you will be spending more time with them than your own friends and family. So you will become a reflection of them or you will pick up habits that they have in the working space. And it doesn't even matter whatever grad program you're in, whatever grad studies you're taking, do your research, reach out to people early on and get to know them and their work. That's not something you want to really leave to the last minute or overlook. Because anything you take away from this video, it should really be mentor over institution. Set boundaries. So on your first week, you need to sit down with your mentor and really lay down the foundation of what do they expect from you? What does a week to week look like? What are the outcomes and the deliverables that they expect of you? And how are you going to handle adversity and disagreements with them? And that is a little uncomfortable, right? It's a little bit of confrontation, but you are saving yourself from, weeks of burnouts, misunderstandings, and just frustration with your mentor. And it will streamline your work progress because in a lot of situations, that's the only person you're going to have to report to, work with, and develop your future projects and get your letter of recommendation for. Also, just time commitments. What does a week schedule look like? What hours do they expect you to report to work? What hours do they expect you to be able to answer your emails? Just protect yourself from overworking yourself because I know a lot of grad students, your work ethic is already high if you're in grad school. You will typically take on more work than less work in a lot of situations. So it's really good to set those boundaries of what do they expect. Sometimes just baseline wise. Some weeks you won't have a lot of time, you won't have a lot of energy. You'll be caught up traveling for conferences and working on other projects. And you need to know that, okay, on those weeks, if I just need to get by, what does that mean for them? And what do they expect of me just on a baseline level? Grad school is a full-time job. You need to have a set schedule. Same way 9 to 5 works, you clock in at 9 a.m., you clock out at 5 p.m. Treat grad school the exact same, because if you do not, you will not know when to stop, because the work will never end. You will never not have work in grad school, and that is kind of the scary part about it. But there's always a manuscript you could be editing. There's always a project you could be looking over again. There's always a meeting you can be in, emails you can be answering. But if you don't know when to actually clock out and give yourself that space to be a person outside of grad school and invest in yourself and take care of yourself, you will burn out to a crisp. Guess who did that? Invest in a good desk chair. There will be days where you are sitting longer than 8 hours in a chair and you probably won't even stand up, besides to go to the bathroom and maybe grab a cup of water, take a bite of a granola bar. And that's just the reality. Like, I don't want to act like, oh, you should never do that. Grad school will probably call for that. And I just hope it's not frequent. That's all I'm trying to say. Your back health is something that once it's damaged, you're never getting back. Like, your back is that one muscle in your body that never stops working. When you walk on stage for graduation and get your degree, yeah, your back doesn't just magically go back to when you were like 15 years old and it was healthy. You're going to work with that same damaged back that you have. So take care of it. Invest in a really good desk chair, because you know that meme of Coraline's dad where he's hunched over on a laptop and he's like typing in like a gloomy room and he looks depressed? Okay, you're gonna look like that. Don't be hunched over like that. That's what I want you to take away from this. Like, protect your back health. I know I forgot a lot of things, and I really hope I can make a second video and talk on those other points, because there is so much I would love to elaborate more on. These are just a few things that I initially really wish I would have known about grad school. Other than that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.